You have a master's degree, maybe even a PhD, and right now you're answering customer service calls just to survive in a new country. And if you're sitting there in that scenario right now, I want to answer this question with you about how long it's going to take. Not just tell you that, oh, it's going to be well. Let's unpack this. This is Hello Misola, and you're welcome to another episode. Let us read today's letter. And it says, hello, Misola, I have a master's degree, and some of us even have a PhD where I am, and I'm still answering customer service calls to survive in this country. It's been years. How long is this season supposed to last? I want to ask you a question before I answer your question, because the answer will determine really what we're talking about today. It sets the trajectory for everything. Now, did you move here on a student visa? I say here because I'm assuming it's the UK, but because that's where I am. But it could be anywhere you are. It just means you've relocated from your own country to another new country. Did you move there on a student visa? Because we're talking you have a master's degree and all of that. And is your right to work sorted? Because here is what's underneath a letter like this that we're not talking about. There is a process, there is an adjustment phase. Whether you moved here on a student visa or you had maybe a master's degree from where you're coming from, there is a process, and it's that you are going to adjust to the way it works in the new country. I'm going to use the UK as an example. You have a master's degree from where you're coming from. How did you come in here? Did you come in here on a spousal visa, or did you come in here on a work visa? Now, if you came in on a work visa, it means that for the next 5 years, except you find another job while you're here, you'll be doing that thing that you're doing. That's scenario number one. Now, you came in on a student visa to do a master's. For the first 2 years, you're restricted. You can only do customer service roles, right? Great. Now, that's all you would do. And then when you finish, you're like, okay, yes, I'm looking for a job. The reality is that it's the UK does not mean that there's no competition. If you studied HR, whatever it is you studied, you're graduating to join the thousands of people in the pool that are looking for jobs as well. So it is not just you. There is a process, and before the job actually comes, you have to put food on the table. I am going to tell you well done, because you didn't just sit down begging and wondering where the next food or the next money for lunch or the next bill is going to come from. You're doing something. You have stable income right now. Albeit it's not something you love to do, but you have something to do right now, and that is a major achievement. It's all dependent on your perspective. You have to look at this from a very different perspective, and gratitude must be the perspective or the posture from which you're looking at these things on. If not, you would struggle. Yes, I know it's been years, but how long have you been applying? What are you applying for? How many applications have you made? I'm not saying you've not done that. I'm just saying that there is a lot of competition in the market right now. I don't know about any other country, but I know about the UK. There's a lot of competition in the market now. And the person that wins is the person that does not give up. Now, that is just my own perspective. Let us now go into the kingdom perspective, because as always, there's always something that God is trying to tell you in every situation that you find yourself in. Now, like I said, the first thing I want you to do is adopt a posture of thanksgiving and gratitude. Listen, you're not in your dream job right now. You're in a job you do not like. And it's funny because you're not the only person. And I say it's funny because there are a couple of letters and they all sound similar now. We're getting them on the channel. So if you look at the library of videos, you will see lots about I hate my job, but it's paying the bills, I can't leave, and all of that. So beyond just watching this video, I want you to go back and watch those ones. So just look through them, the titles, the ones that call out to you. Watch them as well. But what I'm saying is, I want you to adopt a posture of gratitude and thanksgiving. Why? Because you're not just here without a job. Do you know how frustrating it is to not have money coming into your account every month, and you have bills to pay, you have responsibilities to cater to, but you have it, albeit it's a job you don't like. We understand that. So be grateful for where you are, because whether you like it or not, you're sitting in your answered prayer, your testimony. There was a time you were praying to relocate and do something, and then you relocated and you're like, okay, I need a job, and now you have the job, but it's not what you want. Yes, you've been there for years, so you're sitting in one of your answered prayers right now, and you're also sitting in somebody's prayer point. Somebody is praying for what you have. It might not look like it, but there are a lot of reasons to be grateful, and just adopt that posture, because that is where change begins to come. Then there's also something I want to talk to you about when it comes to the kingdom perspective, and that's kingdom agenda. Personally, I did not know, not that I didn't know about it. I'll tell you that I've been a Christian for the longest time, but it wasn't something that I thought was important. Okay, I have my own agenda in life. I'm going to serve God, but I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make millions of money. I want to have 7 figures. I want to live my life for myself, take care of my family, change the status quo, live in a nice big house, do the work of God, go to church, offering and all of that. It wasn't until I attended a discipleship course by DDK. It's called ILDP, Intensive Leadership Discipleship Program. Or maybe one day I'll talk about it, but make no mistake, it is actually very intensive. First module was kingdom agenda, and I can never forget. I feel like that was my turning point as to where I am today. It was talking about kingdom agenda. Like, I am a citizen of heaven. I'm an ambassador for Christ. I have an agenda here. So there is an agenda for the kingdom. And so all of us as Christians, we have a part to play in the kingdom agenda. I'm like, what? All I knew was, okay, I wanted to become a doctor. I didn't pass physics, and then I found myself here. So it was all from the physical. Apparently, there is something called the kingdom agenda. And it took me all of these years to get to know about it. I hope you're not a Christian like me that just didn't know about it, or that is here today and just thought that, okay, I just wanted to get a good job, live a good life, and that's it. So what am I saying? I'm telling you my story just to say that you need to make sure that you're aligned with the kingdom agenda. So the point is, there is a kingdom agenda to go into the world, make disciples of all nations, until the kingdoms of this world become the kingdoms of our God. These are all scriptures in the Bible, but there is a part for you to play in your sphere of influence, and that's where purpose comes in. What is it that lights you up? How can you be the representation of God? How can you show that Christ is enthroned in you in whatever it is that you're doing? So wherever you are right now, ask God for how you can be a part of the kingdom agenda. Now, whatever it is, your sphere of influence, that's purpose, and we'll talk about it in the practical steps, right? But if you don't know what it is, where you are right now is the place for you to embody Christ. I'm not saying go to work and preach to them. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how can you emulate your God? How can you emulate Christ where you are? By being diligent, by being kind, by being the person. That when they say, what would Jesus do? WWJD. It's just being a very kind and nice person, showing up and be diligent and doing your work, right? Let it never be said that you did not do your work well. Those are things that you do, and before you know it, you're taking action, you're doing the work. Clarity will come. Now, I don't know if you're there or you already know what it is you want to do. All I'm saying is, do not be looking for another job just because you have a master's or a PhD degree and you're like, I should be earning more than this. I should not just be answering customer service calls. No, you need to align yourself with the kingdom agenda and figure out, why am I here? It's not just about the money. But anyway, let's move on to the practical steps, because I would not be talking about changing your money story and chasing purpose, and then it should start making sense, because just maybe you might actually be in the right place right now, because looking for another job, it's not necessarily what's in the cards, like what's the next step for you. That might be what you thought it was, but when you now realize that, oh, I need to align with purpose, I need to align with what has been destined for me in my life, the job that you're even trying to apply for is not something that you're supposed to be doing. Anyway, let's move on to the practical steps. And so when we're talking about alignment, it's Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I have for you, thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Now, I say all of this and I wrap up the kingdom agenda to say that God is your creator. He created you, so he has a plan and a purpose for your life. So right now, while you're in that job that you hate, it's the best time for you to figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing, so that you can align your life to your path, to the thing that you have been put here to do. And honestly, that is a game changer for your whole life. It might mean that your life is going to be restructured, like your whole life is going to change. But guess what? You never lose by doing that. You always win. So anyway, go back to your father and ask him what his purpose and plan for your life is. And let us move on to the practical steps. Because beyond going back to the father and asking him what his purpose and plans for your life is, before you have clarity on that, what is it that you can be doing right now? Step 1, every day that you wake up and you have breath in you is a day that you should find something to be grateful for. You see this thing I told you, I've just explained about being grateful, the posture you should adopt. That is enough to be grateful forever. Like, I am not where I started. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I started. And so, Lord, I am grateful for this. That's step one. Step two is time to manage your money well, because something is coming in and you might think that you need more money, which of course you do. But how can you manage what you currently have? I don't know if you're a great person at saving. You might be asking, what's this got to do with anything? It would make sense when we start talking about your money story, but you don't want to be starting every month from zero. Why? One of the frustrations you have with this job is that this is the only source of livelihood that you have. This is what is putting food on the table for you. And if it's not there today, then you can't pay the bills. So it's frustrating because you're starting from zero. You cannot afford to leave. If you sit down and do an income and expenditure of how much it is you need to survive per month, but you have been able to save up 6 months of living expenses, then you know that you can take a break for 6 months and find something and do the thing that you're supposed to do. But you cannot do that. So how can you manage your money well? Simple. Today, open your bank app. Know exactly how much is coming in. You might know that, but do you know how much is going out? Do you have control? How much are you saving up per month? Now you're saving because you don't want to start every month from zero. You want to build up your emergency savings. So money is not everything, but money is a tool that is going to help you to get to where you want to get to. So you need to be able to save. You need to manage your money well. Something is coming in. Build up that life savings. Get to 6 months, 1 year's worth of monthly savings. That's something you can live on. And then you realize that the job doesn't look so bad suddenly because there is an end game. There is a plan. Okay, I'm applying for jobs, but it's not here. Can I take a break? Will the walls come down if I take a break? No, it won't come down. So I can take a 2-month break, a 3-month break, find something else. You might have an arrangement or an agreement with your workplace and take a sabbatical, 2 months unpaid leave, and just go relax, cater to yourself, take care of yourself, figure out what it is you need to do. And then if you feel the need to go back because things have not changed yet, then you go back. But nothing has changed in your life because you have a saving spot. I'm just giving you a scenario of why it's important that you manage your money well and build up your emergency savings. Step 3, chase purpose and change your money story. Why? When you now realize the very thing that you've been put here to do, you would now start doing that thing. An example of what I'm talking about is you've realized that your purpose is to bring up godly children in the way of the Lord right now. And it's not to stay in a job, it's not to start a business, it's not to do anything. Now, because you have been working for years and you have a saving spot, from the point before, you can start investing. Investing is for everybody. The Bible says that we would lend to nations, right? So that's where you're investing. You can start investing in ETFs and all of that. Now, what this means is you are investing. If you had started before, you have a pot, and then you're doing the very thing. Another scenario is that you can do that because that's what you've been called to do. And then your God is your provider. He will find a way to provide for you. It might not be in abundance as the entrepreneur or somebody who is in a 6-figure job, but you have food on your table and you're content. Now, another scenario is that this is why I say chase purpose. If you realize that this is the very thing that you're supposed to be doing, let me tell you why purpose and your money story is interlinked. Everybody has a script, a story, a purpose and a plan for their life. As long as you're alive, there is a purpose for you being alive. And it's not just for you to get a job and just, make money, go on holidays, buy a big house and all of that. No. There is a reason why you're here. And for everybody who is on that path and doing the thing that they're destined to do, there are resources that have been allocated there. Now, when I say chase purpose, you'll want to be asking yourself questions like, who am I? Why am I here? Who are the people that I have been called to serve? Because purpose is service, right? What is the thing that is keeping them up at night? How can I help them? Now, it might sound like entrepreneurship questions. It does not just apply to entrepreneurship. Why? It could be that you are someone that has been called to go and change the narrative for housing in the housing sector. You have been called into the medical field to change the way things are done for people with kidney diseases, to be the source of light to people there. That's you being in your field, in your career as a medical doctor. Now, you don't have to start a business for this, but when you understand the burden of the people that you have been called to, you would now figure out how you can create value to them. And guess what? Money follows value. The moment you start giving value, money has no option. Listen, it's not optional. It's a compulsory must have. Money will follow you. So that's what I'm trying to say when I say chase purpose and change your money story. You understand the fact that yes, I need to change my money story. But how do I do that? I forget about the money right now and just focus on value. I focus on purpose. I focus on my people and give them value. Money will come. It's a compulsory must have. And that is how you change your money story. Now, you might be asking, or I hope you're no longer asking at this point, how does this apply to you who is just trying to get a well-paid job? Because when you're clear about what your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing, then you realize that maybe I am meant to be in that job right now and start my business and be there until my business kicks off. But the advantage of this job is that, okay, I have stability. So that idea that you've always been sitting on, now is the time to start. Or you then realize that, listen, I have a master's or a PhD in maybe business analysis or tech or whatever, and I've been looking for jobs in that industry. But no, this is not the thing. This is not me. I have been called to someplace else. I need to upskill and start applying for jobs. Then you now have to pay for some sort of training. Then you realize that, okay, it's not time to apply for jobs yet. I need to train, upskill so that I can start applying for this, this type of jobs. Or you then realize that, no, the tech industry is calling me. I want to be a business analyst, a product owner, a developer, or whatever. I have that experience already. I've been applying for jobs, or I haven't even been applying for jobs. Then it's time to dust your CV and start applying for jobs there. Or you then realize that it's exactly what I've been trying to do and that's what I've been applying for jobs for. Then I would link or give you some video. There's a video that I have created on trying to find, I keep applying for jobs and no one's answering me, because the tips there are really helpful. But I'll just say, keep applying. Aim for 10 job applications a day. And that means that in a week, you've done 50. And you also aim for 100 no's. I'm not saying 100 interviews or 100 yes. You've gone through the application process, the interview stage, and they told you no. Aim to get 100 no's before you then stop and say, okay, maybe this is not for me. But if you're not there yet, keep going, because it's until you consistently do the thing and take action, that's when you begin to see results. But other than that, I understand that where you're at, it's a difficult phase. I'm not just going to say, oh, do this, do that. I get where you're coming from. It's painful. I think it's a video I posted yesterday or day before yesterday. I was in a customer service job that I hated, and I kept telling my sister I was going to leave. And she's like, how are you going to pay the bills? And I walked out. I walked out of the job, and guess what? I couldn't now pay the bills. I didn't have a plan. So I get where you're coming from, and I understand you completely. But this is the plan for you, that you're not just going to leave. We're just going to figure out what your purpose is. What is the actual next step that is in alignment with the kingdom agenda? The path that has been designed for you and is unique to you alone. Then you now realize, okay, maybe I need to stay here, start that business, or I need to find a well-paid job, or I need to leave, or I need to quit completely and take some time off, or I just need to start saving so that I can start investing. In a couple of years, I need to maybe start having kids, or there's a timeline. My kids are going to be older in 5 years, so I need to start investing so that I make the money work for me, and then I have time to spend with the kids. It's all dependent on your personal circumstance, but these are the practical steps that you're going to apply so that you know exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing next. And lastly, be a part of a community. It can be lonely, it can be frustrating, but now I hope it's no longer going to be as frustrating as it should be, because you are encouraged and you now understand that, okay, maybe I need to continue doing exactly what I've been doing, but now aim for 100 no's, or no, I need to take a step back and figure out what exactly it is that I'm doing, or I need to start that business ASAP and remain where I am. And once you do this, you'd realize that it no longer feels like a burden. It no longer feels like there's that weight on your shoulders. It then looks like, okay, this is just one of the steps in my journey and it has an end date. It's not the end right now, but I know that there is more to come. And so you're looking at it from a whole different perspective. Now, as I try to wrap up, here's the reset that I want to leave you with today. Your degrees are great and well done on getting to this point, truly. But where you are right now, even though you've clearly outgrown this space, is something to be grateful for. And so choose gratitude and adopt that posture of thanksgiving. Also, you're in the exact place to start changing your money story. And by that, all I'm saying is chase purpose and do the very thing that you have been put on this earth to do. So now is the time to figure out what exactly this thing purpose is or what means to you. So take the time to do that. But while you're doing it, understand that this phrase has an expiry date. It's just not here yet, but it has an expiry date. I am rooting for you. You've got this and you can do it. So this is the end of the video for today. And if you've listened to this video, you've watched this video to this point and you're like, okay, no, I have a challenge. My own scenario is different. Send me your letter. Explain everything in your letter. I read every single one and I would address it on here so that you get the clarity that you need to at least start taking action so that you can get the transformation that you need. But other than that, if you've not subscribed to Hello Misola, please, I would love for you to subscribe to Hello Misola because I'm building a community here of immigrants who are in between stock and purpose and know that purpose is the goal. We need to chase purpose and we're going for it. So please subscribe, like this video so that the algorithm can do what it knows how to do best, and share this video with a buddy. Share this video with a friend, an accountability partner, and be like, okay, let us encourage ourselves. Watch this video, let's do it together and let's go for it. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.